Hello again, book lovers. The Final Pagan Generation by Edward J. Watts, the subtitle of which is Rome's Unexpected Path to Christianity. So, this is a renowned classicist writing about the century, the 4th century, in which Constantine converted to Christianity and there were various battles between succeeding emperors, Julian the Apostate being one, trying to reverse the Christian novelties that had been put in by the previous emperors. And it works, rather than just giving us the background history of the choppings and changings, focuses on 4 biographies that we know of via their letters, namely Libanius, Themistius, Ausonius and Praetextatus, and their varying careers as teachers, philosophers and rhetoricians, climbing their ways up the ladders of power and in some cases falling back down them. And so that basically is that 4 biographies interwoven against the background of the changing emperors. Now, this isn't entirely academic, though I should warn you, the text goes to page 220 and the notes to the text occupy a further almost 90 pages. Then you get an extensive bibliography, and I do think of these poor scholars sometimes sitting in the library reading immense amounts of not only texts about ancient Rome, but the actual ancient Roman texts, and all intricately cross-referenced, then an index to finish off with. But by that time I think you know all you need to know about these 4, who are, as far as I can tell, the only real sources for life at this time in this place. I have a special interest in this, as I'd like to write a novel about the changing power shift from paganism to Christianity. So this is very useful for me. I've earmarked a couple of pages which are absolutely chock-a-block with dates and history in the pure sense of, as somebody once said, one damn thing after another. But this is all prefaced by what life in Rome would have been like at the time, what the power structures were, who was fighting who where. And if you've had a peek at this corner of history, you'll know that it's pretty complicated, and you may be surprised at the amount of evidence that we have that enables us to put together these histories. As a lot of the letters are concerned with legal matters, we kind of construct the story via that, and we learn that laws are made that say if you marry into a baker's family, you have to become a baker, for example. And there's a plethora of letters about what to do with the pagan temples. Are they allowed to sacrifice? Should they be closed at night? Should they be guarded? Should they be knocked down? And if so, how? By the way, one of the debunkings of this book is the idea that Theodosius was actively anti-Christian. It seems that he had an entourage that followed him around on his travels who took it into their heads to destroy temples and synagogues as he rather turned a blind eye. So apportion blame there where you will. And in this epistolatory manner we get to find out a little bit about Constantius's victory parades, what it's actually like to be somebody who's aging in the times of change. Although, without wishing it to be a spoiler alert, the other general debunking of this book is that actually, to all intents and purposes, it probably didn't make much of a difference what Constantine said in Rome, or Diocletian, or whoever it was. Yes, there were specific anti-Christian purges and anti-pagan purges. If you want to know more about them, I would say read this book, but as I say, this kind of hones in on 4 very specific biographies, providing interesting insights into the lives of the time, but maybe not an overarching history. If you're looking for that, look elsewhere. If you want to zoom in a bit more and use these 4 lives as columns for the history of the Roman Empire of the time, at least as seen from inside, this is your book.